Hey everybody, Michael Campbell here, Family Pastor. Just wanted to go over this Saturday's lesson, December 24th, that the kids will be going through, how it applies to them and us. But we, from the Grace Kids team, wanted to wish you a very Merry Christmas. And so on Christmas Eve, we will have 4 services at the Middleburg Heights campuses and 2 at the Olmsted Falls. But we want to celebrate with you that God is present with us. And so these are some of the things and topics that the kids are going to be going through as we celebrate the birth of our Savior and God in flesh with us. And so, have you ever heard somebody say something along the lines of like, God's promise of the future should give you hope for today? Or maybe you've heard a dozen times or said it just as many. Like in part, this is saying it stands because we believe the Bible teaches that principle. However, at the gut level, this idea can be challenging to hear and believe at times. And so in Isaiah chapter 7, God reminded Ahaz through the prophet Isaiah that he had an ample reason to trust God. And the evidence, a future promise. In a moment where it could have been made sense to a human mind to reference a past experience or a previous fulfillment, God chose to actually offer hope with a word about something that had not actually happened yet. That future promise was the incarnation in flesh, Jesus Christ. God had promised Christmas would come in order to encourage Ahaz to trust in the Lord in that moment. In hindsight, it's easy for us to read this and understand that God was forecasting a promise that we know he would ultimately keep. However, at the moment, there must have been really perplexing to hear. And when we make our way through the New Testament and discover some of the beautiful and hopeful promises of the second return of Christ, the eternal joy of God's people and the faithfulness of God through trial and tribulation, we too might be tempted to wonder if any of this is actually going to happen. And the people in the Old Testament were really in the dark in a lot of areas, so it's a lot easier for us to see. Numbers chapter 23 verse 19 says, God is not a man that he might lie, or a son of man that he might change his mind. Does he speak and not act, or promise and not fulfill? God is faithful, and we can look to the past and find a record of his truth, which means we can also look to the future with continued confidence that God is not a liar. Though not overt, our faithfulness in the face of his future promise suggests that we at least think there may be a chance that he's not always true to his word and faithful to fulfill his promises. Yet he's not going to waver, and we can set our faith in that because what he has done in the past, we can see that he also will keep his word. Yes, be thankful for God's faithfulness of the past, but we also want to be confident in the future promise that God is present with us right now, and he will not change his mind, his character, or his word. And all of that is through the incarnation of himself in Jesus Christ. And so we're going to be celebrating this birth through kindergarten. So we won't have any classes 1st to 6th grade. They'll be able to sit with the parents and guardians. So again, on Christmas Eve, we'll have 4 services at Middleburg Heights, 2 at Olmsted Falls for birth up until kindergarten. We want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from Grace Church and Grace Kids. God bless and take care.